I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with
DANK.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. How's it going, Tank?
Oh, it is going wonderful. I will. I don't have exactly an update from Kim because there's obviously some very heavy things that are still in operation. However, she did tell me that she has pissed everyone off in the last 24 hours. And she gave a pretty strong indication that when I asked her about the Senate and why did the Senate only have like 8 senators get up to speak, and then the other 92 who were supposed to speak did not, which is pretty much unprecedented, before Mr. McConnell shut it down, and then they had 2 days of nothing before the vote on Wednesday, which today they voted to acquit, obviously. And that seemed to have in some way go back to Kim, although she didn't tell me how. But I would imagine it has something to do with the Federal Reserve having no license, no charter, and probably the government having no money, unless Kim lets it through. And I would imagine she's drawn a line in the sand, and basically is like, either this money comes in for the people, or there won't even be any reason to do what you're doing because all of your funds will be shut down. Well, at least that's what I hope. That's what I hope.
Okay, yeah. Well, I did get, a little bit more information about what's going on in the Bank of England with regards to the Kim system. Is more is like it's appearing there, and they're discussing how to use it, right? And what's I guess that's it's appearing on paperwork as K I, a K period, I period, M period, S period, right? So Kim's is showing up, but what is it going to take for them to use it? I do not know. But
well, knowing Kim, she probably made it so easy that they're completely boggled by it, right? Because I know she spent so much time educating different groups like the Treasury and the Federal Reserve to explain to them how everything has always worked, and they just really did not know,
right.
And so I guess whoever's left standing at this point, they probably still don't know, right? Because you educate a level and then they disappear, and then you educate a level and they just, something like that, I guess, So.
Oh no, they know how. We gotta stop them.
Right. So funny. I know, yeah. Like they immediately report back to their handlers, and their handlers say no. But I think at this point, I remember in the first 6 months when Kim and I were working together, she was just doing intel dumps on these guys from everywhere. She had information on Kissinger and video. I mean, every crime that's ever been committed, every war crime, international crime, crimes against humanity, all the money that these guys have stolen from the government, and they didn't realize, the governments really didn't know. But I still think that a lot of that information got intercepted by gatekeepers. So, there's still so much ignorance, right? Because that's always been the problem. You can send something out, but if it doesn't ever get to the people that can make a difference, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So I think that she's spent a lot of time just bypassing that. And keep in mind, I still don't know definitively what the other two Kim systems are, right? But I'm sure one of them has something to do with, key internet monitoring security or something, right?
Right.
And I'm not sure about the other one. I mean, maybe
key intelligence and military system.
Well, yeah, the key intelligence and military system we know, and the key integrated monetary system we know. But there's 2 other systems in addition to that, right? But I'm not exactly sure. But I know that I know they're live now, right? So everything's up and operational. So I'm sure that they're feeling the squeeze on levels, not able to, get away with anything, probably. And it's probably a level of scrutiny they've never even experienced before.
Yeah, well, I hope they can figure out how to use the system soon enough, all of them. Maybe they just need to try it.
I feel like they just all they do is stall. They're constantly stalling, thinking that somehow they're whatever, their satanic goat god is going to come back and thrash through things and save the day. Their galactic black sun or whatever it is. But I mean, I guess that the destroyer is gone. I think their galactic goat god might have been Marduk. I don't even know. But I mean, I think that they're eliminated. They're gone, right? They're not here anymore. So there's really no place to look. They're not coming back. They're banished from the universe. The Universal Council, whatever that means, has basically said, hey, everything's gonna be better. Although, I guess we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, but I'm very, very confident that we're going to be in a position where, the world will be much, much safer than it's ever been. Although, I got another death threat today.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was actually, they're really creative. They send these very violently butchered images of men that they've killed, right? And they're really horrible. I mean, really traumatically awful images, right? And I could see how they would strike fear into anyone, right? But I'm like, I don't know. I'm just too dumb to be afraid, I guess. But, but I mean, it's pretty aggressive stuff.
Well, then we've got to dumb down our threats. They're
They're catching on. What are we gonna do? Yeah. It's like, I feel like, real killers don't make threats; they just kill, I guess, right? So,
yeah. So what?
Anyway.
It's kind of like I think about in Star Wars, and you had Obi-Wan Kenobi facing off with Darth Vader, and he says, "If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can ever imagine."
Right. Yeah, something like that. I mean, I know that.
So I think that they have to deal with things like that because it's true, right? And that there's an action. It's kind of like the martyrdom, martyrs. They're in that position that, they were struck down and then they became more powerful.
Well, you got to think too. I mean, I have thousands of videos, articles, conference calls out there that are available, right? But kind of suppressed. But if you kill me, then people are going to go do some research, right? They'll have some more questions asked. And then if they start to do some research, they start being like, wait a minute, what is all this, right? Because there's a pretty thorough timeline that explains everything that's happened. I'm sure that they thought to keep that suppressed as much as possible. Also, I can imagine, Kim does wield a considerable amount of power, and I know that she's got a dead man's trigger on all of her people, which I'm one of them, that, if they ever did anything to us, that dead man's trigger is like none other. I mean, it would be shattering. And she would stop playing around. I mean, like, she made that very clear several occasions. So I don't worry too much about those things.
Yeah. Well,
it's too much work to do.
Yeah, and we'll keep pushing forward and making these things happen. So we're so far ahead, and again, our anniversary is coming up 1 year.
Yeah.
3 more days.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I can't believe that you even said that out loud. That's why we're here, Dan. So I blame you, because you nailed it. So let's see how it goes. I think
it's okay. If I had to pick a date, I had to pick a date. Things have to happen. It works out.
It happens.
We've got another couple thousand years here on this planet to before we go to the next planet.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we'll live, considerably longer and healthier and stronger lives, do all types of amazing things. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to people being free. It's amazing talking to the Cherokee every day, right? They're really on top of this stuff. There's a retired judge, from the regular system who's Cherokee, right? Who's actively involved, and she's really knowledgeable. So they've just got a lot of great credibility behind them. So it really helps us a lot, right? To have a judge and a former U.S. Marshal and a bunch of other law enforcement, right? So we're putting together these teams, and it's going to be pretty badass, actually. I've got the whole sheriff's handbook put together by the Sheriff's Association, and I'm like, I've been reading through the whole thing, and I'm just amazed. I mean, the whole thing is really about. I mean, you can see how clearly it states, what constitutional law is, and how that is the supreme law of the land, and that the people are the authority, right? So we have every right, actually, to establish a law enforcement, constitutional law or common law enforcement and investigation division. So that's,
Yeah, especially when there isn't any.
Yeah, there isn't at all. I mean, it's just corporations doing different things. I also got a call from the FBI today.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but they didn't leave a. Well, you can't leave a message with me. I get too many, so I never check my voicemails, just for the record. But they called. I called back, and I'm not sure who called me or for what reason. So hopefully, the FBI doesn't call you if you're in trouble, right? They just show up. So hopefully, I can be of service. Be of service to the FBI,
Yeah. 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 Well, that's good. Well, maybe they'll catch you at the right timing.
Yeah.
You can put it out. You can put it out there. Just list a time right now on the air, and then they'll know. Oh, we can call them at this time.
Yeah, FBI. If you guys are up and you still want to talk, when I'm done with the call, feel free to chime in. You can call right now if you like. I'll gladly jump on and talk to you.
Yeah. we
But
can go live with the.
But I called back the FBI, and you would have thought like it would be very formal, and it was just the sweetest operator. She was so helpful and so nice. She, well, you know what I would do with this. She was so sweet and kind. I'm like, oh, well, it's not what I expected. Call the FBI. Yeah, very good.
Well, it's not like when you call the IRS, right? And they say, he's in the torture chamber right now.
Yeah. Right. Yep. So, I've been touching base with some of our, our project owners too, who are very excited to move forward. And, I can't say when. It's obviously right now. I just don't know exactly when that translates to get to our door. But I do have a dream, Dan. This is my dream. My daughter's birthday is coming up, right, on February, next Tuesday. And she's got a party this weekend. And my dream is to be able to
have a galactic unicorn.
That's a grander dream, but I would love to be able to just go make arrangements to move my family someplace, into a home, right? Which because during this process, I've basically driven us into poverty. So I would love to be able to give my daughter a home in a backyard that she wants so much, and be able to surprise her with a dog. This is my dream, right? To have her at her party and have her get a dog. Because I know they all know, like, no one will get a dog until we have a house. I have to just let the dog run up to her and celebrate and let her know, hey, we broke through.
Well, that's a great manifestation. Just put a date on it.
Yeah, makes me happy just thinking about it. I love it. So.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. So, so what do you think, man, about the impeachment? Now what? I mean, what do you think of the backlash of, useless Chuck Schumer getting up there and everybody making all these claims like the Democrats clearly proved their case? Like, well, then why did, if they clearly proved it, I mean, even if they proved it, how does it justify, I guess?
Yeah, well, that's all rhetoric. I mean, what I think is the most telling is with Nancy Pelosi tearing up the speech afterwards, and I've seen a lot of footage of Trump. Did Trump see her try to shake her hand? Like I don't think one equates with the other, but if you want to go down that line, is that he dissed her by not shaking her hand, right? I can't say that he saw her hand, right? I can't say, because I saw several from overhead view and everything. It looks to me as though like he just passed it and turned away, and he was on to his speech. He wasn't going to give her any time. He wasn't giving Mike Pence any time. He just delivered what he was supposed to, and turned and started his speech. So her ripping that up, and throughout the entire speech, she's going through it page by page, turning pages, as though she needs to get attention on her, saying, he's not giving me credit for the USMCA, things like that, right? And
Right.
we're the ones that actually made this happen. Why is he not giving us credit? All these kind of things. And then in the end, just ripping it up. Really just, I think the contrast that showed the difference between the two sides is so poignant. I think it's going to just ring out so loud in the election. I really think that the Democrats lost any hope of even being, somewhat relevant. Like maybe they lose the House, but it's by 1 seat or something, or 2 seats or 4 seats or something small. But now I think it's more like, they're going to go down to like, a third of the House. That's how dramatic it could be because of this contrast. How spiteful she was. How just so it's about her empowerment, her power, and not about the people. And I think that's what was shown through there.
What I took note of is like with Chuck Schumer's after the State of the Union address, and after he was acquitted today, you could see it was a even higher level of just visceral hatred and anger, because they're used to writing history, right? So he got up there with the same arrogance, and he was like, "This will go down in history as a great tragedy." Now think about it. It's like, no, it won't actually.
I still want to know who Chuck was trying to talk to in an empty chair when he told him to get out of the chair.
His demons, of course.
Yeah,
that's his thing. They carry around demons all the time.
He said, "What are you doing in my chair? Get out of here!"
Yeah, like move it, demons.
Yeah, I saw a couple of clips on that yesterday where people just analyzed it, slowed it down, zoomed in. He's definitely talking to someone in a chair that's not there. And now you want to listen to this guy, so who's he getting his directions from?
Reminds me of being in the car, by myself, like on my way to work years ago, and thinking that someone was talking about me, and I created a whole conversation in my head with this person as I was driving by myself, right? And I got really, really mad, and then I realized, wait, none of this has happened. I just made it all up in my head, right? I got all worked up, and wow, that was really real. I had to take notice of it.
Well, someone you remember that old film, I guess 1980s type film. It was it's They're Alive or something like that, where it's you put on the glasses and you can see, all the words they're trying to brainwash people with obey, and the newscasters, are skeleton type people, aliens. You remember that?
Wow.
That movie?
Yes, I do remember that.
Okay, so someone took that clip with Charles Schumer, and where he's looking at the empty chair, and as though what would you see if you put on those glasses? You saw Pepe the Frog.
Yes, I saw that. Pepe the Frog.
Yeah, get out of our seat, Pepe.
But what's amazing is it really speaks to what they're so used to, this cultural guidance working, where they just keep saying the same thing, but they never offer any evidence of it. I guess on some level kind of take it personally. Like AOC put out the other day about Trump's unlawful and unconstitutional behavior. I'm like, what are they talking about? I mean, what they have not even referenced anything in the Constitution other than saying the word, right?
Right.
It's just like a term of convenience for them. It's like,
oh yeah.
First of all, I hope to God, I would expect every president, if you have the former vice president sitting in front of a foreign council, like the Council of Foreign Affairs or whatever it was, right? And he's sitting there bragging about, how he blackmailed, or I don't even know what the appropriate term is, right?
Right.
Where he basically said either you fire this guy or you will not get paid. And he said, you're not the president. He said, call him. He was bragging about it.
Yeah,
right?
that falls under
It's right.
bribery. That falls under bribery.
I'd say so. I mean, that was a very clear violation, and I'm sure that there's international laws that don't make that okay. And then why? I mean, isn't that the president's job, right? To uphold the Constitution. That's his job. Now that is a violation, right?
It is.
Now I'm sure I can find a constitutional violation on, that versus. I mean, it's definitely conflict of interest on levels, but everyone they just keep ignoring it. I mean, I saw Chris Cuomo going after Rudy Giuliani. I'm like, is this guy retarded? I mean, is he serious right now? Like, I was so confused. I'm like, I cannot believe they're even serious. Like, do they just ignore very obvious evidence, or are they just acting that hard? It's just crazy.
Right.
Like, I would have loved it if the impeachment trial would have gone on, and they would have been able to present real evidence. Yeah, and I really hope they take Lindsey Graham goes in, and there should be a public trial, and they should put there, okay, what is this? Because you guys freaked out about a call where the president was like, there's an ongoing investigation. First of all, to have a government that's supposed to be our ally to look into an ongoing investigation is not a crime, no matter how you cut it. And how could you even call someone a whistleblower? They said a first-hand account. No, it wasn't. He wasn't on the call. And Trump completely laid out the transcript.
And it is not illegal. Quid pro quo, in that context, is not illegal, right? It's to basically say, listen, you want the money, there's a criminal investigation. We have a treaty that says you have to investigate these things. We need you to investigate, or I'm not going to send you the money. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's legal. So.
Well, even with treason, I was listening to this really great discussion here in New York on this show. And he was talking about how it's high crimes and misdemeanors is together, right? And what that's talking about is acts of treason, right? To undermine the American people, or to betray the American people and usurp the authority of the government, right?
Right.
So
bribery, treason, and others related to bribery and treason. So extortion.
I fail to see if someone is innocent of a crime, then why would investigating it be a big deal? If they're not innocent and they're openly bragging about it and you have them investigated, isn't that in the best interest of the American people?
It is. 100% is. It's his duty to do so.
Right. So what they're doing, though, which I think is kind of what their mentality is they still see it as like they're the people, not us. They're the people.
Right.
And we're the slaves. Right. So they don't care at all about anything we have to say.
Right.
All they care about is, them. Like, you're betraying us, right? Like, we're important.
That's it.
These other people don't matter. That's basically what it is. So.
Yeah, and so now, that when they say, their democracy, our democracy, they're really talking about, they're talking to the media, who's part of them, and said, hey, they're going to, destroy our democracy when we have a republic.
Yeah, this is a republic. This is not a democracy. We have unalienable rights, and that means there is rights that we have that you cannot alienate us from. And people, I'm so excited about this. We work with these the Cherokees, right? And we got the Cherokee Nation. We got this retired judge who's part of Cherokee Nation and part of their law enforcement team, as well as a retired U.S. Marshal for 38 years, right? So a long service history, really understands it and what's going on, right? And really been laying this out. And they gave us the Sheriff's Handbook, right? That was created by the Association of Sheriffs to show them, because the sheriff's the one supposed to be out there enforcing constitutional law. And it says some really powerful things in there, and you realize this is all talking about the people, right? That's what it's saying. It's saying the people, which are the authority over the government, which they created, the people created. right? So it's like very clear about, and it says that the sheriffs have no business going to an attorney for any interpretation of the law, because in many cases they are, the attorneys are in violation of the law. And I was like, wow, I mean, who even thinks of that? I mean, how many sheriffs out there are willing to stand there in the court like that? I mean, because that's really what it comes down to, you know? So, and I'm looking at that. So the chief tells me, because I told him, I said, well, you know, I was technically elected by this group, right, of people to be the sheriff, right, for the Republic. He said, that's good. Use that. He goes, that's legit. That's the people's sheriff. That is legit.
Right.
So I was like, okay. You know, I mean, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around. So I can imagine it's going to be hard for other people. But
You mean the government hasn't approved you?
well, that's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way I was thinking. But he said no. You know, that's wrong. But, which I get it, and I know it, and even though I study it, it's still hard for me to wrap my mind around.
Right,
I
got it. I know.
Other people deal with
It's because it's not what we are trained for, right? We're trained to think of it, you know, like the Constitution, you know, even though it says those things, you really do still have to do it this way.
Well, and what's also exciting is a lot of the things we put in place, right? After speaking with the chief, I mean, he really nailed it. He's from Washington, D.C. That's where he grew up. So he served in D.C. So he was telling us, you know, on some of these things, and we told him some of the stuff that we had done and why we'd done it that way. He said, that's the right way to do it. And he confirmed a lot of stuff, and the judge did too. And even told us how to advance it further and really further extend, essentially setting up the lawful body that we intend to set up all along, right?
Right.
American Republic Marshals. So I'm thrilled about it. It's very exciting for me to be able to, you know, empower other people, and we'll have these, you know, we're actually going to be testing it out hopefully next week, and actually going into, you know, courts and having our very formal documents that we're going to have filed in the, you know, Library of Congress, and that we can use, right? That we can reference and say, this is our official documentation, you know? So.
Well, I'm excited about it. Yeah, so and my friend also wants to, you know, join in. So, you know, that will, you know, he'll bring a lot of other people in as well. Yeah,
it's you know, this judge is actually down in Georgia, which is where the headquarters of the CDC is as well, right? So I feel like, you know, just the universe is really putting all the pieces in, you know, just the right place for us. Everything's coming together for us to pursue this the right way. So
yep.
We're moving by leaps and bounds every day. And
yeah,
and that's that.
It'd be good to take a vacation. All these leaps and bounds.
Yeah, I really I'm holding on to my manifestation of my daughter puppy this weekend. That's you know, just because of symbolism behind it, you know, not just the puppy. But there's obviously bigger fish to fry, but I mean, what the hell is all this for if we can't be human? You know,
right.
If we can't just appreciate, you know, a 7-year-old getting a puppy. I mean, what are we doing? You know.
Yep. You know, these things all come together, you know, and this is the, you know, the timing is looks like we're really close, you know, with this, you know, I still, you know, I want to see the declass happen. I want to see them start going after all of these criminals in the government system, right? That has to stop, right? You know, I mean, that has to start the rest of those people.
Well, Matt Gaetz is filing charges, by the way. I mean, he's filing. He filed a complaint with the ethics committee against Nancy Pelosi, and there is actual criminal charges potentially that are there.
Yeah.
Like he actually listed the code, unlike what Democrats did to impeach the president, who they had no code to list at all.
Right. Well,
there's all this talk about you know, maybe Nancy Pelosi really is working with the president, you know, and this is just the role she plays. which, that could be.
I just don't see that.
No.
I wouldn't say that it's impossible that he snubbed her on the handshake anyway on purpose. But I know all these other times he's definitely goaded them into the impeachment. He pushed them.
Yeah. No, I know. And they were trying to cover their ass. And I can't wait to actually hear what it is that, Kim has dropped on them. Because what they do every single week, and I really pray to God that Kim will not let this happen this week. Because they're running joke, that I hate Fridays, right? Because by the time they get to Friday, they're not coming through, right? And I've had many a Friday transfer that we were negotiating and working with banks and confirmed, and just to have them snatch the money out from underneath us, So
yeah,
I'm like, Kim she talks about this all the time, how the CIA had this tomorrow game, right? So it's that's a real tactic. That's a real psychological operation, because people will wait, a few more days, 2 more weeks, if you come this far, you can wait a little bit longer, all that mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of it's broken. It all leads to nowhere, because that money is never coming through. So, Kim's always talks about like it's today, because it's amazing. I've watched Kim do this. It takes no time whatsoever, not at all. It's seconds that it takes her to transfer. She can do it from anywhere. I've had Kim on the road pull over while she's driving and do a $15 million transfer for me, right? Confirmed it on all levels, just to have them snatch it up and try to redirect it to some other account. So I mean, I know that's happened. So it's kind of incredible, when I look at all the pieces that everyone wants to kind of deny are happening, but they make it like, oh, we got to do this first, and then we got to clear this. It's like, no, you don't. You don't have to do any of those things, because she's indemnified every bank, right? Every bank is indemnified for transfers from Kim. I mean, there's absolutely no risk. So if there's no risk to bring that money in, why would any bank reject that money? The only reason is because it's, contrary to their very corrupt agenda.
Yeah. I was just looking up something when we were talking about Nancy Pelosi ripping up that thing. Someone posted her, ripping it up, but they put a title code on it, 18 USC 2071, section 2071A. Whoever willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, obliterates, or destroys, or attempts to do so, or with the intent to do so, takes and carries away any record, proceeding, map, book, paper, document, or other filing filed or deposited with any clerk or officer of any court of the United States, or in any public office, or with any judicial or public officer of the United States, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned more than 3 years or both. So is that what he was, citing her on?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I remember 18 was the first number. That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah. Okay.
No. Sounds right.
That sounds good if she goes to prison for 3 years.
That would be amazing. I would have a barbecue in honor of that every year. That would be historic.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
But they're all, but this class, these elite, they're untouchable, right? Yeah. The laws don't apply to them.
Well, I think that the National Liberty Alliance is proving that's not true very, very much. I think, I did speak to them as well yesterday, and I would say that, we are very much working with them to assist that, and we're going to give them every piece of evidence until we are a lights out team. That when we come into the court, the judges basically are going to have to, the whole court system is going to have to be in agreement. In talking to the judge and the retired judge and the retired U.S. Marshal, the chief and the judge there from the Cherokee Nation, they're all over this thing. They know exactly what they're doing wrong. They were explaining how every time they have court, they're in violation of the Constitution. They do not have the right.
You know what? Let me ask you a question. This judge that you're talking with, Marshall, he's a marshal and a judge?
No, two different people.
Two different people.
So,
okay, just check. One of them's not from India. Indian, is he?
India?
Yeah, from India.
No.
Just checking.
No.
Yeah, that's.
No,
I knew another judge who was also a marshal who was also working as an American Indian, way to put it, American continent Indian, but he was literally originally his ancestry is from India. So that's why I was asking. Someone I knew.
Yeah. Well, the judge is a woman.
Oh,
and
yeah, definitely not.
Chief Tomahawk, over the law enforcement for the Cherokee Nation is, he's not a woman, and he was U.S. Marshal. So
okay.
it's but they definitely know their stuff. They gave us just some great documentation that, Michelle and her team, like they're drawing up the language and things like that because, we want to streamline this stuff so that anybody can understand it, right? Because it's heavy. It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not, even, I don't know, it's still pretty new to me, and I do my best to understand it and really embrace and speak the language. At the end of the day, you could see, I'm kind of like, let's stop them from, forced vaccinations, first of all, right? Not ask for exemptions. Let's just call that an unlawful practice. To most people, that's pretty extreme. But when you talk to people that have been doing this a long time, they're like, the whole system is corrupt, right? But they're all committing treason. And I'm like, that, and they're saying, and because there's no enforcement, that's the only reason why they get away with it. So we have to set up enforcement,
right.
Which I've known for a long time. For years, David Hayden, he actually had an original copy of the Constitution, right? We bought it years ago with this big thing. I think there's only like two in existence of the original, and he had one. And he was teaching me about this like 5 years ago. And I remember he and I having this in-depth conversation how one of the things that was lacking is a reverse governing system to ensure the government, was being watched. But that's not true. It just wasn't, followed through on, because when you take the people that came from underneath the crown and a system where they were essentially in serfdom and slaves, right?
Right.
And then you give them freedom, 10 years, what they did was they made sure they didn't ever figure out what it meant to be free.
Right.
Before they came right back in.
So they didn't have the 40 years wandering in the desert to shake off slavery.
Right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So it never got to take hold. And so, really, we'll be the first American generation, the first generation in America, I guess, that gets to be free, really free.
Have the understanding and not acting out of loyalty to the crown, or the understanding that hey, we have to get permission, to do things.
Yeah, that's something that I've been the past 2 years with Kim. She always says those kind of things, right? And she's always said that to me, like, everybody's looking for a savior, but you got to save yourself, right? And I don't know. It's taken me a while to catch on, I guess. Trying my best to put these things in practice, so that we can make them practical for everybody.
Right.
But challenging, right?
Sure. But it does take some time. There's a lot of efforts. Actually, even this stuff with Gould and the proper grammar syntax thing. I'm looking more into that because someone else I'm working with on the gold side of things with Kringle Gold. They're actually writing trusts using the grammar syntax system, and the trust is for gold, a gold trust. So it just kind of fits, and since I had this, somewhat exposure starting to happen with it, I said, okay, well, it looks like it's time to, jump in here, at least and see what benefit there is in using it, right? And have a better understanding of it. I just have a very cursory understanding of what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, that falls like what, on like international and canon law and stuff like that, right? It has to say the same thing forward and backwards, all that kind of stuff, right?
I think so, yeah. But yeah, I don't want to make comments because I don't know enough, right? I just
yeah. No, I'm not trying to trap you. I get you. I get it.
I know. I'm just trying to get some more context so that I can have a better understanding. So now my friend, he's been in it pretty solid, and now he's writing contracts with it. So
Sure.
I'm gonna have to catch up with him, and then we'll see about the Kringle Gold Trust and things, which need to be finalized. So might as well reformat them into this new structure. Because hey, it can't hurt.
Yeah, that's what I say too. It's like it can't hurt,
Yeah.
It's like we have like within just the organizations that the structures I've set up, like with either with lawyers or common law professionals that are really well versed in things. I have so many different types of. I have a a Wyoming trust. I have a common law trust. I have tax exempt unincorporated association. I have a 501c3 corporation. I mean, I have all these different structures, and I'm just like, whatever is the one that gets us away from being enslaved, that's what we're going with. That's what we're going to work with. So that
yeah, we'll take that one. Which one is that again?
I think I actually do think it's the Guardian of Camelot, that structure, the unincorporated tax exempt association.
Right. Yeah.
Because that structure actually does, set the. I mean, that gives us everything we want, right? It's tax exempt, it's unincorporated, so you're not governed by UCC codes. They can't even really ask you what you're doing. You don't even have to tell them anything.
Right.
So,
yep.
So that's the goal. Yeah, man. So I think things are popping. I got a feeling we're gonna have really great news tomorrow, and as soon as that hits, I'm gonna unload it, hopefully live and give a great report and try not to cry when I do,
And then go get a puppy.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got another step first, but yeah, but yeah. So actually, my daughter wants a sloth. She wants a sloth too. She's like, she wants a puppy and a sloth. I'm like, I don't know if you're allowed to have a sloth as a pet, but she thinks she can. So I like that she's dreaming. So if I can make it possible, I will.
Yeah. Is our sloth safe as pets?
There's the two-toed sloth, I guess, are, and the three-toed not so much. They're a little more wild animals, but two-toed sloth. I mean, if you've ever seen a cartoon of a sloth, a real sloth, cartoons usually exaggerate. The real sloth looks identical to a cartoon sloth. They actually have their mouth is cut so they're always smiling. So I can feel I should like it. So.
Well, they're actually trying to frown, but it takes them a really long time.
Really long time. Yeah. Exactly. Oh man, that's all I got for today, man.
It sounds good. All right, everyone. Thanks, Tank, and I look forward to tomorrow too. It sounds like it's gonna be an interesting day.
Absolutely. Cool. Talk to you later, man.
All right, bye,
everyone.
everybody. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to go ahead and give positive comments, thumbs up. It is important. So, copy and paste the link, share the link, do all those things. If you'd like to contribute, www.g1wga.love. And then you can join for $1.11 a month, $8.88 a month, $9.99 a year. or any of the other amounts that are listed there for bigger contributions. That all is appreciated and helps move things forward. And with that, we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.